everyone. Welcome to Movement Matters with three clinicians and a mic, coming to you with three perspectives of movement. Hi, I'm Jessie, the DPT.
I'm Chris, the PTA.
And I'm Veronica, the PTA.
And today's topic is on obesity and physical therapy.
Ooh, little subject that is quite sensitive.
A little bit sensitive, yes. So we'll start with the definition of obesity. This is chronic and it has a multifactorial condition, meaning that there's many reasons why someone can be obese, right?
I think we can start with saying, and I think we all agree, that while we are for, body positivity and all that, we don't ever recommend or want somebody to be obese. We don't accept that. We would always hope that if we had a patient that was obese, that we would educate them on ways that maybe they can overcome that or anything like that. However, like you said, it's complex, multifactorial. That means that we understand that it's not as easy as eat right and do exercise, and we would never tell our patients that.
Yes, and I want to bring up the body positivity because it is out there, right? And in a sense, yes, people should feel good about themselves. But also, I think the adverse effect of that is that when you are pushing for so much body positivity, meaning like society-wise, like you want everybody to feel included, you want everybody to, feel good about themselves, you inadvertently cause a side effect that is, I can be obese and nothing will matter because I feel good. And it's unfortunate that we have to bring this conversation up because with what you guys are saying, first of all, for you to be obese, it doesn't mean you just gain 10 pounds over a few years. That's not what obesity is. It's a very high BMI, a body mass index. It represents fat within your body. And what are the repercussions of that? Death, early death. And that's what the problem we have with body positivity. We want you to be positive about yourself. Right. But is that leading you to be complacent and to continue to add those fat cells to your body and continue to deteriorate your health overall? Then that's what we're here to talk about.
Right, and I can speak on a personal note as somebody who can be considered for BMI obese.
Right.
So that is, my BMI is probably like 31 or something. Okay, yeah. And again, I consider myself somebody positive about my body, but that doesn't mean that I would be sitting there and saying, let me not think about how this affects my quality of life, especially when I've been heavier than I am now, and I have been.
Right. Which you wanna add something to that before I jump in again?
No, I think that the issue with obesity is not itself the obesity, it's what it's doing to your heart, to your liver, to your kidneys, to your bones.
It's not about how you look,
right?
Which is where people get stuck on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not, and I'm actually gonna say something that maybe you haven't heard before, which is if you're too skinny, it's also not a good thing.
Yes, and there's such a thing as a skinny fat person, which brings it back to the BMI. We have a problem with BMI. It's still used out there, still used as a reliable way of data collection of your fat percentage.
And if you research, it doesn't even take into account your ethnicity and things like
all of that, including the bone, your muscles, your density. It is only your height over your weight times whatever, right? I don't have the formula right now. But the point of the matter is, I have dropped some weight. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I'm a 5'7", and right now 161, which is a good weight for me. But if I was to put a BMI test, it will come out as obese because of my weight being so heavy because I lift weights. So we do have a problem with BMI. It's definitely a beginning of a data collection to show where it happens. Right. But like much what you guys are saying, phenotypically, in other words, you may look fat, but you may have a much better system and you're metabolizing and you're eating the right foods, as opposed to somebody who may look skinny, but then you take their body fat percentage and it's up the roof.
Correct.
Yeah. So speaking of multifactorial, I think we can say we would look at as health professionals the weight, of course, but also measure their fat. To see
right, the actual fat.
The strength called the clippers.
the other thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing that looks at
Yeah, the fat
your
percentage
fat percentage
gauge.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
gauge thing.
yeah.
The
And
fat
then-
caliper is definitely much
Right.
better.
And then also your activity level, your maybe some labs, maybe things like that. that we would
Cardiovascular health.
take into consideration.
100%. Your vitals.
Yeah.
How is that? How are those deposits of fat affecting your cardiopulmonary system? Is it increasing your heart rate? Is it increasing your blood pressure? And so yeah, I think that's where we want to direct this. We're not here to shame anyone, make you feel bad. We're here to bring this to you because it does affect your joints. It does affect your functionality, how much you can bend down, get up,
The range of
move
motion.
around.
Right,
that's
so
where-
the mobility, and then if you're not moving, sometimes we have more pain, and if we have more pain, we don't want to move more, and if we're not moving more, we become more weak, and if we become more weak, we get more pain, and then it's just this vicious cycle that we stay in. Over time, even become fearful of the movement, and then that in itself is going to create issues.
Yeah.
So what is the importance of movement in this case? We're going to start with the number one thing I'm going to say is the cardiovascular health for the
Yeah.
person, because
Yeah.
if you're obese, you could have the tendency to, and I think we're talking more like morbid obese, right? Especially the hypertension is an issue. That's a silent killer. That's what they call it. Okay, it opens the door for other complications like stroke and other things, diabetes. We talked about the mobility of each joint, so joint pain, decreasing the range of motion, endurance. So just getting up would be difficult, getting in and out of the car. We've said before, we live in Florida on a hot summer day. If that may be harder, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah, more
tendency
prone
to
to-
overheat.
I was about to say
Yeah.
more tendency to overheat, heat strokes.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the big one that maybe it's the elephant in the room is the mental health aspect of it, which I know a lot of people don't want to talk about, and we've kind of mentioned the body positivity. One thing for us, body positivity doesn't mean accepting your unhealthy lifestyle.
Correct.
Body positivity to us is looking at your body and constantly wanting to make it better and to improve, whether it's exercise, whether it's nutrition, whether it's sleep.
Regardless of
yeah.
what weight you
Well,
are.
yeah, this has nothing to do with the weight. Body positivity is taking care of the shell that we have, right? Because this is an outside shell.
Mhm.
And so if we don't take care of that, there are going to be consequences later in life. And I want to reiterate that it's not just what we eat, it's how we sleep, it's how much movement and weight bearing we get, it's even our nutritional component, like the minerals aspect of it, the vitamin aspect of it.
Other things that are happening out there, and it kind of conduces people to continue in this lifestyle is, sugary drinks, things that, even like a Gatorade, and I don't mean to shame the brand. If you are an athlete working out in the sun and you get rid of all your minerals, then sure, electrolytes, by all means, you should drink Gatorade. But when somebody is just sitting there, drinking sugar water, just the way that society has gone through, and this is great for you. This is just as good as water. No, it's not.
Right.
Okay, so
And
that's
there's Gatorade Zero.
Right.
Which
Okay.
already is a better option at least.
It's the better option, right? So there's a lot of that where, it's just this soda, or it's just this sugar drink, or let me just add a few things to my water so I feel, that I taste good, and the energy and things like that. And I think tying into mental health, Doc, is we might be even talking about someone who just started those lifestyle choices now. What Doc is saying is, you may not feel the repercussions of mental health in the way you feel about yourself, or even not necessarily just visually, just not feeling good when sleeping, is having sleep apnea because you got too much fat and you can't breathe. All of these different things will lead to you feeling not great about yourself, maybe not worth it, right? It's too late for me, type of thing. And those things will lead to so many, things that you cause to yourself, like so many damage to yourself and to your self-esteem. And then eventually you get into the acceptance level that shouldn't be, because it's really never too late. Never too late. I mean, you could be morbidly obese right now. Look at those 600-pound sisters.
Mhm.
I mean, they had to do what they had to do. Some had some
So,
surgery, some
Yeah.
had this and that.
Which
But
could be a viable option.
Absolutely.
What is the thing? Ozempic is for that, right? People
Right.
are using it in other ways, but that's what it's for, and it should be used for that.
Right.
Surgeries, like
Right.
again,
That,
they're
you
there
know,
for
are
those
going to
reasons.
be affecting.
the issue is if you use these tools, okay, as a temporary solution, but never
Never
change your lifestyle or what motivates you, because we hear about different diets, whether it's keto or intermittent fasting or certain, types of diets that are out there. Okay, great, they'll work temporarily, but what happens in the weekend when you're like, you know what, I was good for 5 days, I'm gonna be bad for 2 days.
You are describing the thing that Vero and I were talking about.
Right.
Diets are wrong. Like, just the word diet, for me, it tells me it's temporary.
Right.
It tells me that, okay, it tells me, so 6 weeks ago, I felt like I was at 174. You might go back into some of the videos and look at me being a little fluffier. I wasn't obese, and within a weight that's acceptable to me, but I felt like, okay, I need to cut down on some things that I'm eating. So I started organizing that, and I actually lost 15 pounds in the last 6 weeks, okay? And the thing is this, for me, what's more important was to understand, continue a lifestyle, because the minute that I see the word diet, I'm thinking there's an end. And when there's an end,
Your
I go
brain,
right back.
your brain wants to go back.
There's the neuro lady right
Yeah.
here. She'll tell you, okay? You need to say, no, this is how I'm gonna eat going forward. Now, I might get into some pro fitness competitions because I like a goal. So maybe next year I'll join that. That's different. If I'm going to go to a competition that I'm going to get, judged by my leanness, then I might do a diet for that specific time.
Because you know it's temporary.
Correct.
Because that minute.
The
is
minute I
done.
sit on that
Where's
stage,
my
I'll be
burger?
like, where is it? Okay. But the truth is that the lifestyle change is probably the best way to go about it. It will help work on your mental health, where you're like, you know what? I can have this if I choose to have it this way, or if I choose to have it earlier in the day versus later in the
And
day.
it goes back to what we had mentioned in earlier podcast about the behavioral aspects. If you, one of the things that I did, I come from a Cuban culture, so we have our cafe latte every morning, right? Café con leche. And what did I do? 3 spoons of sugar and all the things. I didn't start a diet, but you know what I did? I started eliminating the sugar first. Okay, maybe not 3 spoons, I'm gonna do 2, and then 1, and then none. And then now I don't even do a creamer, I take my coffee black with nothing added. And again, it's just a habit forming. So once you form a habit, you can
then you don't need
continue.
to think about it as temporary.
Right. But it's like if you're changing everything, that seems overwhelming to people. So you just have to start with, okay, you know what? Those Oreo cookies after 8 o'clock, I'm not gonna do it. You know
I agree
what I mean?
100%. I think
And
bite-sized stuff works.
Little
beautiful.
small goals,
Yeah.
and keeping yourself accountable. One of the things I know that you're doing, and you've introduced to a couple of us, is a calorie counter. Because sometimes we're just eating out of habit.
Yeah.
And then we go to the fridge and we open the door, we close it, and we go to the fridge and we close it, and we're trying to find that snack or something, and we don't realize that piece of cheese you had is now giving
Well, that
all
ties
these
back to the
calories.
mental health, because again, a good doctor, a good nutritionist, a good therapist maybe should be asking those questions. Why are you eating at certain times? Because we do that, and it is psychological. Food gives us a dopamine boost sometimes and stuff. So sometimes you eat because you just there. Sometimes you eat because you want to feel happy, whatever it is.
Yep.
And it's not because you're trying to survive. So sometimes you have to question yourself and be like, what is the real reason behind this?
Well, absolutely.
Right.
And with that said, we can give you some pointers here. If you're a boredom type of eater, in other words, you're at home and you're bored and you're like, there's nothing to do, I'm gonna snack. You're not really hungry. There are other ways you can do stuff. You can go take your dog out for a walk, or you can have some water with some lime, and now you can add a couple of things to the water and see if that works. Maybe a coffee if you don't have any heart problems, So there are ways you can go about chewing gum. Some dietitians will say, if you feel like you got something, Yeah, put some gum in your mouth and then give your brain that chewing, but you're not really quite eating.
Or always the natural things, right?
Yeah,
Instead of
yeah.
something that's been processed or
Yes.
canned, you want to try something that's more natural.
Or maybe, and then
Well, if you subscribe to her channel, she'll give you lots of
yes, I have some
Recipes.
awesome recipes. I made this brownie with chickpeas and bananas. I swear to God, if I didn't tell my father-in-law it was chickpeas, he would have eaten that with the ice cream like it was a brownie from
Yeah.
So that, which really brings me to, there's so many options now, guys. I've been doing this like bodybuilding, like type of thing forever. Like I've always liked to lift and I kind of go up and down like that. But so I come from a time where there was nothing. You're either eating plain chicken with mustard or and for real, and spinach, right? Where this last weekend I made a blondie brownie with chickpeas and bananas, and then each piece was less than 60 calories. Like we're in a whole new different world right now. Like I'm having fun with this, you know?
Okay. So I want to talk about what physical therapy intervention would focus on, and I want to talk about exercise as a formula. It's a math formula, right?
It sure is.
Our cardiovascular system is math, and I know you thought we didn't have to do math in physical therapy school, but we do a little bit. So can you tell us about heart rate and what it takes for the heart to actually get a little work and for people to start losing weight? We all know it has to do with the diet. We're not nutritionists, by the way, disclaimer. We just, we like and enjoy food.
And we learn metabolism and we learn physiology.
Yeah.
So in a way, we're here to guide people into the right foods.
Well, before you go into that, I'll say nutrition is the biggest part, weight loss wise.
Yeah.
Of course, movement and calories you expend can help, right? But really, us in physical therapy, we're gonna focus on the secondary effects of obesity that are gonna affect your strength, your range, your endurance, right? So that's really where we're gonna go into it with our patients. But it does start with introducing exercise.
Right.
Absolutely. And one of the things that will make you safe and will make you actually work towards a goal, whether you are trying to increase your cardiopulmonary, efficiency, or you're trying to burn fat. All of you and all of us have seen it on the gym. So I'm going to use this example. It can get complicated, so I'll try to make it simple. In the gym, when you go to the treadmill, you often have a very colorful panel in front of you.
Yes.
Right?
All the numbers.
That beautiful, colorful panel is actually a pretty simple mathematical equation that you do based on your maximum heart rate. So you can cheat and look at that colorful panel and say, oh, I'm 40 years old, I want to burn fat. How much should I keep my heart rate at? Okay. So the way it is 220 minus your age. I'm going to give you the simple formula. That gives you your maximum heart rate. That is kind of like the top tier. Like you don't want to go past that for your age because you can pass out and God forbid have a cardiac failure if you're in that side of the health. But the truth is, once you find your maximum heart rate, those colors on those panels, they correspond to these numbers that I'm about to tell you. So depending on the resource you're looking at, you want to work between 50 to 65% of your maximum heart rate for fat burning activities. So you're really not working as fast as you think you would, right? So people are like, oh, I gotta run as fast as I need. No, you need to check your heart rate. You need to find your range, and you need to stay within that range. Several examples I use to clients and patients. Have you ever seen a bodybuilder getting lean out, running? No, they're gonna do the slower heart rate, so the 50 to 65%. Some sources will say 60 to 75%. So again, take it with a grain of salt, but it's within that smaller range of your target. That will be your target heart rate. So if you found out that your maximum heart rate is 190 beats per minute, then you want to calculate about 50 to 70% of that amount, and that is your target heart rate for fat burning. Whereas if you're at that point, want to start working cardiovascularly wise, in other words, where your heart is actually having to work, then you need to bring that target higher. You need to bring it from like a 80, 75 to like a 95% of your maximum heart rate to then be working, which in some sources will say you almost bypassing fat. Okay, you actually, the body is not even looking for fat because it's such a slow energy that your body's looking for fast energy to go through that higher target heart rate. So sometimes you think by doing more intense cardio workout is better to burn fat, you're actually boycotting yourself.
Right.
Okay?
And also maybe longer, right? Like if you
Right.
go lower, you gotta go longer.
You go longer time.
And that's why exercise is not gonna be the ultimate thing that helps you lose weight, because you will have to be working out all day.
Right. You need
And
to
we don't have
work.
time for
It's
that.
a combination of things. It's a calorie deficit that is safe for you. Okay, you don't want to have a calorie deficit that you literally like this the end of the day, because now you have other problems.
Right.
But you also don't want to be like, okay, one of the things you said about the app that I'm using now blew my mind. And again, I've been doing this for a while. I love turkey meat, like ground turkey. I think it's easy to make. It's pretty soft.
And it's healthy.
It's healthy.
Right.
Here it goes. So I took the 85% fat one. You know how you have 95% lean, that kind of thing. So it was 85% lean. So it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. Guys, before I started using the Zap, I was, fasting for the most of the day, for earlier part of the day, and then I would get home and then plop those meats in because it's meat, it's protein.
Right.
It's 85% lean.
Yeah.
Once I plugged it on that calculator thing, and it literally 1 cup of that protein was nearly 1,000 calories.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here goes someone who's fasting. I don't eat the donuts. I don't eat this. And then I would assume, by not being accountable, I would assume that what I was eating was within the calories. I was actually overeating only because I couldn't even identify what foods had the highest calories.
Healthier, it is healthier, but it doesn't change calories. Calories are calories.
Right.
What is 100 pounds of feathers with 100 pounds of cement?
It's 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. And
Calories
so,
is calories.
so
it
what did
doesn't
that
mean
make?
that
100%.
calories are
So
not
I'm like plopping it, thinking, okay, right? So once I saw that, it first of all blew my mind. I was like, took half of the meat back out of the plate, right? Added some fiber, some cucumbers, some other good stuff. So the better you eat, the more your body asks for those things. And then I switched to the more lean meat. So now I pay a little more and I buy the 95% lean, because then you can eat a little bit more.
Yeah.
I like to eat.
Yeah, we all
So those things open my mind, guys. I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing bodybuilding since high school, and I don't do it competitively unless I want to join something. But blew my mind that I'm the preacher. I'm the one preaching about this, and then when I look at it, I'm like, oh golly, I'm not eating anything during the day, but then it comes at night, I'm eating 6,000 calories. Great. That really boycotted myself. And once I realized that, from 6 weeks ago to now, I've literally dropped like this 14 pounds.
All right, so I want to, before we close up, I do want to say something, that those people who are on the heavier side at the gym, we're not judging you, okay? We're actually really congratulating you for even being there, because it all starts with a movement, okay? For that motivation to even get to the gym, where a lot of people are preferring to stay home. There is no judgment in that aspect, at least from your physical therapist, I'm pretty sure.
And it really annoys me when I see someone who's a little bit on the heavier side, and you see, because of shaming, stigmas, fear of judgment, they choose to not go to places. But when they finally take that step and go, man, I just want to give them a hug, like, lady, good for you, guy, good for you. And then of course, what do? You find social media. Then you find those people that we call the keyboard warriors, that all they have is time in their hands to go ahead and start trying to mess with you for absolutely no reason. And the truth is that it should be something for you. You shouldn't be looking at just the way you look. You should look at your insides, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your BMI, even though it's not great, but it's somewhat of a data collection.
The little inches, because no one else may
inches.
tell.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought that up.
They count.
Okay, so many people, I'm so glad you brought that up. I can't believe I forgot that. This is one of the biggest strategies I use with people that that not right away you're gonna see the weight shave off of the scale. I will give them a string, and I swear, guys, try this. You take a string and you put it around the areas that you hold most fat. For most women, it's gonna be belly and hips, where guys, it's more like the triceps and then like the sides and the chest. Like there's different areas that kind of women and men hold. Anywho, take that string and put it around you. Mark where that is. Put that string up hanging somewhere. In a couple of weeks, when you really want to weight yourself, but you're not sure what you're going to see, take that string and check it out. Because chances are the string will have some pieces like left, which means now you're shrinking, and the shrink already boosts your confidence to say, you know what, whatever I'm doing is working, you know? And so you don't necessarily have to go to someone and get a BMI and get a fat check. No, get a string, check your circumferences everywhere.
Yeah, it goes back to the complexity because weight varies. What you ate today, whether you've gone to the bathroom, how much water.
If you're perimenopause and you have
So
hormones, okay?
that could be anything. It doesn't mean that you're not getting more in shape or
Right.
changing something about your body.
Right.
Absolutely. Movement is medicine. It's sad that that's not necessarily the first line of treatment approach, at least not here in the US. But we definitely will recommend that movement should be part of your daily routine. Something, a little movement, you know.
Yeah, and to be safe, guys, because we are clinicians and we want you to start slowly, bite sizes. One of the biggest things that can hurt you is if you are resonating with what we're saying and you're saying, you know what, I do want to look at myself positively, so I'm going to have a positive approach to how I can change my life, which will eventually show to your physique. So it shouldn't be about your physique, it should be about your health. Then the physique follows, okay? That all said, that is where your focus needs to be, not on, you know, because you gotta trust the process. Your body does not build muscle and burn fat at the same time. It sort of goes in an up and down type of thing. So if you have a day that you're a little bit heavier, if you have a day that you feel puffier, stick with your program. Is consistency. Consistency is bigger than motivation. We had a conversation about that, right?
To watch our other video.
Yeah, that is a prompt for you to go check the other videos. You know, and furthermore, do bite sizes, because if you decide today that you want to get busy and you go to a run, you can certainly hurt yourself and really cause a big problem.
And then go back to the cycle.
Right.
Yes.
Motivating, and then I can't do it.
Right. So it's not an all or none. It is not an all or none. It's I'm going to start today, whatever it is. Like you said, maybe I'll have the Oreos at night. Maybe I'll go for a walk after dinner. Maybe I will have water without anything added to it. And each week or each so many days, you adapt a little bit more.
Right.
Look at it as a lifestyle change, not a diet.
Exactly. Hence the lifestyle change, so that it could be forever.
And much like what Doc said, and you can check the neuro stuff, which is really cool, is habits take time. It takes several times of you doing the same thing over and over for your body to actually learn that process.
And before we let you all go, I want to say that if you feel like you're lacking a little bit in the movement, or you want a physical therapist to evaluate you a little bit more formally, so you have an idea like how much range of motion am I missing, how strong am I, you know, what movement should I be focusing on, I don't understand this whole calculation, can you tell me my target heart rate? We definitely recommend that you go to a physical therapist near you, so that you could get this information. And if you have any questions, for sure leave us a message, DM us. We're here for you guys. Comment, yep.
Share and
Share,
subscribe.
like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Share, like, and subscribe.
Hello,
All right,
commercial.
and we're gonna do a little closing. You should listen to this because movement matters.